Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are going to be talking about how to min-max and utilize two accounts to get the most out of your playing experience. And I'm going to break down exactly what you can do and why running two accounts can be, if you have the time, extremely efficient and can benefit you so much more than you may think. So before we dive into everything, as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you sub, like, ring the notification bell, and if you want to join and be a part of our conversation, hit up the Discord. You can find a link to that in the pinned comment description right down below. Okay, so in short, the way that you do this, and some of you are probably familiar with this if you've played Rock and you've done this before, you've heard of it. I mean, it has been around for a little while, but to my understanding, hasn't really kind of hit mainstream, I would argue, across kind of the Kingdom Builder universe. Probably a little bit more so in Rock, just because the game kind of is sitting at, kind of top tier when it comes to the genre itself. So I just imagine more players are susceptible to it. But how it works is that you're basically running two accounts. You are leveling these accounts at the same pace, right? So the idea really is that you're trying to max out two accounts. However, once your second account gets to an ideal state, the high level overview is that you would use your main account to essentially do nothing but just farm gems, while your second account feeds you resources. This allows for you to really min-max in the best of ways, because by doing nothing but essentially farming gems all day, or let's even just say you farm gems 50 to 75% of the day and then resources on the other part, or let's say you farm gems 80 to 90% of the time per day, every day, but then the other 10 to 20% you're farming some resources. You're still getting so much more out of it, because then you can start to invest those gems into your VIP. It'll allow for you to hit your max VIP level that much faster, and then you can start investing VIP into things like the wheel as a free-to-play. So it's a great way to kind of, I don't want to say get around it, but it's a great way to almost mitigate some of the disadvantages when it comes to not being able to spend for those that are free-to-play, right? So again, there's nothing that you really necessarily do differently. However, at least when it comes to kind of general leveling, however, with your second account, you're not focusing on building out really PvP comps for the most part. You're really focusing on kind of doing everything more PvE related. Right now, you still could do some PvP things, but it's actually better for you in the long run to basically build out things like all gatherers, all peacekeepers, and kind of build more in that direction, because the idea is that you're trying to max out your account to level 25 and then eventually, right, do things with your research, right? But really the kicker is just trying to get to castle 25. It doesn't necessarily matter really what your tech gets you to. Obviously there are, I think, some inherent benefits when it comes to gathering, because obviously you want to try and get your gatherers to 60. You probably want to try and get your peacekeepers to max level as well, just because those will benefit by giving you EXP items, etc. Right, these are things that will help you level your second account faster, so that way you're able to take it more advantage of gathering and just accumulating general RSS items, so that way you can eventually transfer those over to your main. So there's a couple things you have to be cognizant of, right? Number one is that you have a limit that you're going to be, right? It's a weekly resource limit, right? So this is, you can receive, as yourself, the player, can receive a maximum of 125,000 resources per week, determined by the capacity of your market. Once you get it to 25, then the weekly resource limit becomes 100 million, right? Now, again, this is why really if you're going to apply this type of strategy, you have to understand that you're playing the long game here, right? This is not something that you're necessarily, especially as a free to play, that you're necessarily going to be able to do in a couple weeks. However, if you invest properly and you are diligent, trust me when I say it will pay off, right? Because once you get both of your accounts to Castle 25, you get your market to 25, at least on your second account, then you're able to start donating or transferring, right, the 100 mil resources a week, which means that on your main account, you don't necessarily have to gather as hard, right? Maybe outside of hitting certain event task rewards, maybe any dailies that you have to hit, any weeklies or monthlies from your Titan's Legacy for the seasonal tasks, right? And then, just if anything else comes up. But then if you're looking at trying to find gems, for an example, right, then on your main, all you're doing, and I don't have the gem processing thing researched because I just haven't done anything with my account right now in SS1-1, but ideally that's all you would do. You would just go around and just do nothing but hunt gems all day, outside of the, like I said, 10% give or take that you would do for any resources you need on your main, and that's how you would work it, right? Then you're basically just taking all of those gems. Like we said, you're investing it into VIP, you're getting your max VIP that much faster, then you're able to use your gems on things like Wheels of Fortune. I mean, if you think about it, and remember, this is for players who have the time to do this. This opens up a whole new window for you as a free-to-play player. And if you think about it, like this thing, if I had that amount of time, 100%, I would level 2 accounts at the same time. Because for someone who's free to play, it's so much better of an investment to do. It's just the challenge is that not everyone can do it, because not every free to play player has 10 hours a day, give or take, right? And I'm just throwing a number out there, but that they could invest to really make running 2 accounts worth it, right? That's why usually the majority of us who are free to play, right, would invest hard in 1 account and then just try to min-max that. But again, for those of you that are able to, this is what I would recommend doing. It'll put you in that much better of a position in the long run, especially in CoD. And for those of you that are wondering, well, boss, how do I make a second account, right, or a second character? Essentially, you just have to go and make a new email, right, and you set up a new, Google account or whatnot, and then you go ahead and load into the game, right? So basically the way you're doing it is that instead of switching to a different character, because again, you can only have 1 character per kingdom, you would go to account, you would go switch accounts, and then you would log into, a different Google or a different Facebook, right? So that's the only hurdle, if you even want to call it that, probably more of a small asterisk. And then you're just basically switching between your 2 accounts, right? And you're playing them on the same kingdom, and then you're good. So yes, this is what I would consider to be the master, I don't know if I say master strategy, it probably sounds a little bold, but it is something that I think for those of you, again, as we kind of hammer the dead horse here, or pound the dead horse, is, again, this is a good way for you to get ahead in a couple ways, especially with something like the season reset, that I think is a great route to utilize for those of you that can. With that in mind, that is it for me. Again, I would love to know your thoughts, right? Are you someone who's done this in Rock? Are you someone who's done this in another kingdom builder, right? What are your takeaways from it? How effective and how beneficial did you really find it? Maybe about how much time were you putting in on both accounts? And then again, for those of you that are now watching this video and taking away, what, this is a good idea, right? Let me know what you think, right? Is this something you're going to try? I'd be excited to hear. Again, even if you're someone right now playing CoD that's doing it, I'd love to know your experience. Are you finding it worthwhile? Right? Let us know in the comments down below. That is going to be it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.